Hi, Dougie Bird here from Doug Bird's Tackle World, speaking to you about the offshore fishing report off the Gold Coast for the 10th and 11th of April. Well, I'll give you first hand. I was out today, that's why I'm dressed like this. I just got back in so I can quickly do this for you guys. But I can tell you the water out on the 24 fathom reefs is clearing up, but it's still a little bit dirty and it's really hard to find bait. Okay, there's bait there, but it's really hard to get them to bite. But there is bait around, but it's sort of one yakka here, one slimy there, one pike there. It's very difficult to get bait at the moment unless you find a honey hole. The water temperature in close is 25.6, which is really good. So look, I think the mackerel will be on, hopefully, or few will be around. I don't think you'll get them, you might get a gravel patch, but I think it's going to be more along the 24 fathom reefs, from sort of north of Seaway all the way down to Kira. It's going to be out in the deeper water though. The wahoo may be in that water, but I think they'll be out further. It's starting to get really pretty clear around about sort of just inside the 36 fathom reefs. So yeah, you'll need to maybe get a bit wider for the wahoo. The current in close is, there's not much current at all actually. And the current out the 36 fathoms was only about 0.6 of a knot. And the current on the 50 fathom reefs today was about 1 knot. And out at Jim's Mountain today, we're at there too, in 500 metres deep, and it was around about 0.8 to 1 knot. So there's no current, folks. It's just a slow trickle to the south, which is really good. When the bite time's on, you'll get a few fish. It's a lot easier to catch them, you know. So, but getting back to the report, if I'm fishing this weekend, I would maybe have a try for mackerel. I know there's a mackerel competition on with the Gold Coast Sportfish Club. I don't think there'll be big numbers that will win it, but if you happen to get a couple, you might be in the running, I think. I've heard no mackerel caught today that I know of. Doesn't mean they weren't caught, but I've just got back from fishing, so I haven't heard many reports. But as far as I know, there wasn't any that I know of. For the snapper though, snapper have been not too bad. So they're biting quite good along the 24 fathom reefs, a few on the 18 fathom reefs early in the morning. And definitely, yeah, 24s early morning, late afternoon. The swell's dropping, so the swell was sort of half decent on the way out this morning early, just on daylight, and then it sort of dropped back by at least nearly a metre this afternoon. So it was 2 metres this morning. This afternoon was about probably a metre, so it's not as bad. Just be careful when we went out this morning. They stood up a bit in front of the south wall, so go out through the middle of Seaway and then sort of dog leg southeast. Once you get out at least 150 metres past the south wall, because they're standing up maybe 30 to 50 or 80 metres in front of the south wall. They were this morning. That was a bit of swell, but just be careful on that, guys. It is a high tide. It's a fairly big tide, so a fairly pushy run out tide tomorrow and Sunday, and which is sort of mid-morning. And just be aware that there's a bit of northerly tomorrow. It's not too bad, only about 10 knots. But normally we get a bit of northeast, 10 or 15 knots, and a run out tide, it gets a bit sloppy in the seaway, especially a big tide. It pushes against it. But yeah, so tomorrow morning, if you get in close, definitely snapper. Try for mackerel, but I don't know how you go. 36 fathom reefs, definitely snapper. We did try the fad there this morning for dolphin fish on the 36 northeast fad, and couldn't see any actually, but doesn't mean they weren't there, but they're just maybe not biting. And so out further on the 50 fathom reefs, there's a heap of big kingies and the amberjacks on the 50 fathoms northeast at the moment, and they're spread out quite well actually, in that sort of 27, 43, 44 mark, 27, 43 latitude, okay, on the 50 fathom reefs northeast. Live baits are really good, and the other thing that's been really good is jigs. You'll need the long jig like that style, okay? Because there's not much current, jigging's really easy at the moment. That's 220 grams, which is heaps to get down. Today I didn't have any long jigs. I tried the flutter jigs like that style on the kingies. They weren't really interested. They need a bit more action. So you need long jigs. I didn't have any in the boat. But live baits did really well. We got some nice kings. There's a mate of mine, Brody, who's fishing out near us, and he got an amberjack, well, like close to 30 kilos. It was an absolute beast. And we got smashed. We got absolutely smashed by some big fish. Just ripped us back down the bottom and done us. And we used a 100-pound leader. I said to Brody, hey, what's the deal with the leader? And he was using a 150-pound. It's never 150-pound, but anyhow, we only lost 2 good fish, but there's some big fish out there at the moment. So you need to get liveys. We spent like an hour and a half trying to get like a dozen liveys. So if you find a livey spot that's pretty productive, stack up, get them in your well and get out there and have a drop. Anyhow, so that's up there. There is a game competition this weekend as well. It's the Garmin Heavy Tackle Blue Marlin Classic, which is run by the Gold Coast Game Fish Club. They're fishing tomorrow and Sunday, and they'll be fishing out wider of 150 metres. So we went out wide today to Jim's Mount, which is 5 to 550 metres, to have a quick bottom drop. Plenty of fish on the sounder, but we just, because there wasn't much current, you drop in your sinkers in amongst rocks or whatever's on the bottom there and just snag. We got out of there pretty quick because we lost too much gear, but there are fish on the sounder there. But we heard a couple of guys there talking on the radio, and one guy said there's a couple of yellowfin around. He got 1 yellowfin from 2. Another guy said they got a nice blue marlin early. Another guy said he got a smaller blue marlin early in the morning. So there's a few fish out there, plenty of activity. The water's beautiful out there. It's crystal clear blue. 26.2 we had on our sound today out there, the water temperature. So big cod were caught in that 300 metre line. And my mate's got some nice cod out there today, bar cod, because there's not much current. So it's fantastic fishing. You can actually micro jig it as well. Just use a bigger version of that bad boy, sort of around that 300 gram size. And if you've got P3 to P4 line, at least 500 metres of it, go and have some fun. But yeah, that's probably about it for offshore at the moment. Spanner crabs, probably worth doing those too. Spanner crabs will definitely be on 50 metres east of Q1. Anyhow, good luck out there. 2 for 1 fishing this weekend. Thank you, Dougie Burt from Doug Burt's Tackle World.